All right, what is good, y'all? Welcome back to the BLS podcast, aka the Biggest Little Sportscast. I'm your host, Kenny Moss. This is probably going to be a pretty quick little episode, but I just wanted to get one out talking about game one of the finals yesterday. I watched the game, I had a ton of fun watching it. I loved what I saw as a Celtics fan, and I just kind of want to talk about the game for a little bit, talk about where I see the series going from here. What kind of adjustments I think Dallas might try to make, and how Boston should respond to those adjustments. And yeah, man, I really want to talk about the game. I really want to talk about the series. Yesterday was a ton of fun. So let's get right into it, man. So game one, final score was 107 Boston, Dallas 89. Boston led by 20 plus for majority of the game. Dallas did cut it down to 8 with a Luka three-pointer midway through the third quarter, and you could feel the tension in TD Garden. I could feel the tension at home watching it on my TV, and I imagine even Boston could feel the tension. Timeout called by Joe Mazzulla. They went to talk it over and everything. Like it felt a little bit like, okay, Dallas. If Dallas comes back in this one, that's rough. But Boston responded as a championship team is supposed to, and they doubled down, they buckled down, they flipped the switch, and they got it back up to 20 by the time it was the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Which is a championship response, man. For you to be up 29 and to allow Dallas to come all the way back and get it within single digits, and then to respond by, pouring it on and getting it back up to 20 and locking down. Really, really great response by Boston, it was a fun game, man. Let's talk about Porzingis. Okay, so Porzingis, I'm questioning how hurt he, actually was. I'm wondering how much of this was really cautionary for Porzingis versus how much of it was just kind of like smoke and mirrors. Like Porzingis coming off the bench and everything. Like, I mean, he did only play 20 minutes, so I'm sure he is coming off. I mean, we know he got hurt, right? We know he's coming off an injury, but it almost seemed like in the press conferences leading up to the finals that Porzingis in Boston was making it seem like the injury was worse than it maybe actually was, because in that game yesterday, he did not look like somebody who's been hurt for a month and a half. He looked like somebody who has been hooping and is on a hot streak. I mean, he was face up middies in people's faces. He was pulling 30 footers and sniping those. He had a play where he was at the top of the key and just turned the corner on Derek Lively and slammed it. He had a couple of crazy dunks a couple of crazy blocks in transition. I mean, Porzingis was everywhere. It was really crazy to see, man. I did not expect him to come out like that. But yeah, all the people saying that Porzingis, like I would tell people, my prediction for this series is if Porzingis is healthy, Celtics in 5. If Porzingis isn't healthy, I could see it going 6 or 7. And people would be like, "Oh, you think Porzingis is gonna make that much of a difference?" Like, bro, Porzingis unlocks so much for this offense and unlocks so much for this defense. Like people don't watch the Celtics, so I get it. But Porzingis does a lot on both ends of the floor. So yeah, shout out to Porzingis. Tip my cap to Porzingis. That is one hell of a way to come out for your first finals game. You're coming off an injury. You're coming off the bench for cautionary reasons. It's your first finals game ever. Really only like your second or third playoff game ever. And for you to come out and ball like that, tip my cap to KP. That was really sick. But that being said, Kristaps Porzingis played a phenomenal game. He is not the MVP of that game one. In my opinion, the MVP of that game one has to go to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown on both ends of the floor was spectacular. He got the Luka assignment like I thought was going to happen, and he did very well on it. Luka still had 30, but Luka's going to do that. I think as far as what we wanted to live with, what we were okay with Luka taking, is what Luka took. He did everything we wanted him to do and wasn't really able to do much of what we weren't okay with him doing. And Jaylen Brown was a big part of that. Jaylen Brown had like 3 incredible blocks in this game. He had an alley-oop that he broke up, and then in the same possession after he breaks up the alley-oop, Dallas gets the offensive board. Derrick Jones Jr. tries to slam it again, and JB just right there to send that shit back. JB blocked Kyrie on one play and then turned around and was talking to the crowd, and the crowd was hyping him up. That shit was sick. There was that play that I can't get enough of, that poster that I can't get enough of, where JB comes off the pick and then he crosses Luka badly, blows right by him, and then it's Kyrie and Daniel Gafford. Why are you jumping at the rim? And JB on their head. You see the whole crowd in the back doing the on their head. And JB was talking his shit afterwards, like this my house. It was so sick, man. That play was crazy. JB had so many highlight moments in this game, and then even the non-highlight shit that he did. He did all the little shit as well. He did all of the shit that's gonna be all over Sports Center top 10 and everything, and he did all of the little shit that doesn't show up in the box score. He played phenomenal defense. He took Luka's cookies twice. Took him twice. Man, Jaylen Brown, I'm so proud of the player he's become. So many people disrespect him. So many people don't want to see him win, despite all the shit that this man does. Not forget the basketball, right? All this stuff this man does off the floor that is so important, and people just don't want to see him win. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. But JB is giving a middle finger to all y'all who don't believe in him, all y'all who don't want to see him win, all of y'all who disrespect him. And he balled out in that first game. And then I love what he said in the locker room afterwards, too. He came in the locker room and he said, "Don't get cute, boys. It's one game." And that's facts. Jaylen Brown, my favorite player, bro. I'm so impressed with like where he's gotten to in his career, and the player he's developed into. When nobody believed in him, I remember people talking a bunch of shit when we drafted him at 3. And now he is by far the best player in that draft class, and you guys can't say anything about that. JB, man. JB gets the MVP, the Kenny Moss MVP award for Game 1. He was absolutely incredible. Shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. Everybody was really great, though. Not even just... I mean, JB was the MVP, and Kristaps Porzingis was a close second to MVP, but everybody really played great. The defense overall looked exactly how I thought it was going to. One-on-one defense... We're okay with whoever's on Luka because we know what everybody on this team is capable of doing one-on-one in a defensive situation. And, I mean, they held Luka to 1 assist, bro. You hold Luka to 1 assist, that's a fucking win, bro. And, you know, the Luka pick and roll was so deadly this entire playoffs. And the way Boston was able to defend it, I can't think of much that Dallas got out of the pick and roll in this game. Like, I can't think of many successful pick and roll situations for Dallas in this game. And if you're taking away, you know, the primary thing that is so deadly for them, which is the Luka pick and roll, man, it's tough. Does Dallas kind of get away from traditional pick and roll? Do they kind of start to run more, I guess you could say, complex sets in response to Boston defending the pick and roll as well as they did? Yeah, I don't know. If I'm being honest with you guys, the reason I picked Boston as 5 is because I don't know what Dallas is supposed to do. Like, Luka is amazing. Luka is probably the best player in the league. And, you know, Kyrie is incredible as well. But when you just look at how these two teams match up, I really don't know what Dallas is supposed to do. You have to... I mean, they were basically triple teaming Tatum every time he stepped foot in the paint, and he was making the right pass every time. And no matter who he's passing it to, it's a strap. It's an elite shooter, either high 30s or 40% 3-point shooters that he's kicking it out to. And what are you supposed to do, man? So, like, you say, okay, we're not going to let Tatum beat us, which is what they did in this game. Everybody was showing towards Tatum. Every time Tatum stepped foot in the paint, it's fucking 6 arms around him. Like, they basically said, we're not going to allow Jason Tatum to beat us. But the rest of the team is so good that the rest of the team is just going to fucking dog you. So then what are you going to say? Okay, we're going to guard straight up. Good luck, bro. Good luck guarding straight up when you have Luka on any one of these 5 scorers that Boston has. You can't guard straight up on this Boston team, bro. And you can't help on this Boston team either. Like, I'm not saying the Celtics are unbeatable because like, everybody's human and they are capable of a poor shooting night or capable of miscommunication. And Dallas is certainly capable of an elite shooting night and Luka taking over. And like, Dallas is capable of winning some games. And if everything were to fall perfectly in their favor, winning the series. But man, when on paper and when you look strategically at how you plan to guard this Boston team or how you plan to maneuver around their defense, it looks damn near impossible. Obviously, it's not impossible, but man, how do you scheme against this Celtics team? Everything you do, no matter what you do, you're just giving them exactly what they want. Boston is looking for good shots at the rim. Boston is looking for wide open threes, and Boston is looking for their elite star players to be able to be put in one-on-one situations if Dallas isn't giving them the open threes that they're looking for and everything, right? Like, if you're going to give Tatum and Brown the one-on-one situations, they're just going to cook you and get to the paint with ease. If you're going to show and provide a bunch of help defense or double and triple on Tatum or Brown, they're kicking it out to an elite three-point shooter. And the sets that the Celtics run, I know people like to say the Celtics don't run sets or plays, and people like to pretend that the Celtics have a stagnant offense and that it's just iso ball, which is not fucking true. You guys do not watch the games. If you're spewing that rhetoric, you're not watching the games, or you're watching the game and just not understanding what you're seeing. Boston runs these sets where it'll be like a screen and roll on one side, and then on the other side, somebody's receiving an off-ball screen or is cutting. Like, there is action happening on both sides of the court, and when they are making their reads, they are making their reads across the full court. It's not as simple as just running a pick and roll and reading what the big is doing. They are reading what is happening on the whole court, because the sets that they run, there's actions going on both sides of the floor, or there's a read to make on both sides of the floor. This Boston team, bro, the way they play defensively, super connected. The way they play offensively, just in sync, know exactly what they're looking for and know how to get it. And when what they're looking for is taken away from them, know how to take advantage of that as well. Man, I'm sticking to my pick of Boston in 5, but I'm rooting for a sweep now because I see the potential for it to happen, and a sweep would even exceed the ridiculously high expectations that the media has set for the Celtics. It would even exceed those expectations. So I'm rooting for a sweep right now. And look, man, like, if I was the Dallas Mavericks, like, I don't really know what you do. I think you can just, obviously you have to make some adjustments, but what do? Do you say, okay, well, let's allow Tatum to go one-on-one? I mean, bro, Tatum had a poor shooting night, had a bunch of turnovers, still finished with 16 points and 5 assists. Like, and that was with you triple teaming him and with you showing help from all sides. I don't know what you do as Dallas. I really don't know what you do. And the key to Dallas's defense this whole time has been Lively and Gafford being able to roam the paint. And when there's 5 shooters on the floor, you can't do that, because if Lively and Gafford leave, take your pick, bro. Like, if you put them on Porzingis was strapped up last game, hitting 30-footers. Like, what are you going to do? You put him on Horford. Horford was hitting threes last game. You're going to put him on Drew Holiday? Drew Holiday shoots 61% from corner threes this season. You're going to put him on Drew? You're going to put him on Derek, who was also strapped up and shooting even contested threes in that game, just had the confidence? You're definitely not going to put him on Tatum and Brown and leave Tatum and Brown, the 2 star players, wide open. You're not going to do that. So I don't know. I don't know what you do for Dallas, bro. There is not a sound recipe to beat the Celtics team. There is probably a recipe to do it, but it takes a lot of things falling in your favor, a lot of variables going your way, a lot of poor shooting nights from guys who don't have them that often. And not just poor shooting nights, but like, Boston has proven that they could get outshot as far as efficiency goes. Like, they can have poor shooting nights and the other team can shoot through the roof and they'll still win. Go look at the Eastern Conference Finals, bro. Everybody in that Eastern Conference Finals for the Pacers, like damn near everybody, shot 60% from the field, bro. That is absurd levels of efficiency. And the Celtics still swept them. So it's like, you need everything to go damn near perfect just to get a win on this team, bro. Like, look at the 2 games that they lost in these playoffs. Miami needed to have an absurd, like, record-breaking 3-point shooting night to get their 1 game on Boston. Donovan Mitchell needed to literally turn into prime Michael Jordan in order for them to get their 1 game on Boston. And then there's so many other games, like, especially in that Indiana series, there were so many games that you could argue Boston should have lost because they didn't shoot incredibly well, and the Pacers shot the fucking lights out, and Boston still swept the series. You need everything to go perfect to beat this team, man. And that's just not how basketball works. You're just not going to get 4 perfect games. I don't see Dallas winning the series. I really hope that doesn't come back to bite me. I really hope Dallas doesn't just unlock something that me or anybody else isn't foreseeing and suddenly find a way to win 4 games in this series and prevent Boston from winning 3 more. But I just don't see it, man. And perhaps it's an overreaction to game 1, but I feel that it's not. And the reason I say that is because prior to game 1, I said all these things. Like I said, I don't know how you're supposed to guard Boston. Like the way Dallas plays defense, I don't know. It's not going to be effective against Boston. And the way Boston plays defense is extremely different from the way Minnesota plays defense. And they are way more equipped to guard Dallas. They're going to be effective in against guarding Dallas and everything. Like everything that I said that I like on paper felt with these two teams matching up, I saw all of that occur in that game yesterday. So it just kind of reinforces, what I was saying of like, I don't know how you score enough on this team to beat them, and I don't know how you stop this team from scoring enough to beat them. And when a team is this elite on both ends of the floor, and when a team is this capable of when the going gets tough to just flip the switch and immediately be back up 20, or immediately just come out and close the game like they did in the Indiana series. So many times they were down double digits in the fourth and just flipped the switch and then won the game and was like, yep, cool, that's what we do. If a team is flipping the switch like that in postseason basketball, bro, that's like a lion playing with its food, bro. Like it is. This Celtics team is dangerous, bro. And I'm trying not to sound like a dick rider or super biased, but I am super biased, bro. Like I've been waiting. I've wanted this team to win a championship for almost 20 years now, man. Like it's been like 15 years since their last one, if not more. So, man, it's an exciting time to be a Celtics fan. We can look at some of the numbers here. So Boston shot pretty well from the field at 47%. Dallas didn't shoot very well from the field, 41%. Looking at three-pointers, Boston had 38% threes. 38% on their threes, and Dallas shot 26% from their threes. Now, one thing I will say, in the modern NBA, what Dallas is going to have to do if they want to start winning some games, in the modern NBA, 80% of the time, whatever team makes the most three-pointers is the team that wins the game. And Missoula and the Celtics are very aware of that. Missoula and the Celtics made 16 three-pointers in this game, which is a lot, but they shot 42 of them, in comparison to Dallas's 27 three-point attempts. And I get that Boston is really, really great at running teams off the line and keeping them from making threes, because Boston is so aware of how important it is to win the three-point shooting battle. They know how important it is for them to get up as many as possible and prevent the other team from getting up as many as possible. But still, man, you have to put up more than 27. You have to match this team's three-point shooting. If you don't match what they're giving behind the arc, you are going to lose every time. And so Dallas has to find a way to get three-point looks. Dallas has to find a way to get up more than 27 threes. And I know 27 threes is a lot. If you're an old head watching this video, you're like, 27 threes isn't enough? It's not, bro. Not against the Celtics. When a team is shooting 42 threes on you, you have to match that, bro. You can't get away with shooting 15 less threes than this team. So that, I mean, like I said, I don't know much of what Dallas can do here that would be foolproof. I mean, nothing would really be foolproof. There's a couple directions you could try to go to attempt to minimize some damage or attempt to attack things differently and gives the Celtics a different look. But one thing I will say for certain is they need to find a way to get more three-point looks, and they need to find a way to make them. Because that is a crucial part in all of this, is that Boston is going to win the three-point battle 9 times out of 10. And if you want to beat them, you have to find a way to either negate that or get as close as possible to that, where something else that you're doing better is able to get over the hump. But you cannot allow Boston to shoot 42 threes and you don't even shoot 30 of them. You can't allow it to happen, man. It's not going to work in your favor ever. Looking at I'm grasping for straws to try to find what kind of adjustments Dallas can make to come into this game 2 and win. And it's hard, bro. It's hard to see what they could do. Yeah, man. Because if you were to get like Celtics for the most part played straight up and kind of just said like if Luka wants to hunt his mismatches with Horford and KP, and if Luka wants to hunt those mismatches and take his step backs, we're okay with that. We'll live with that. That's kind of what I saw from Boston in this game. And if they take that approach once again in game 2, even if Luka drops 50, I just don't know if it's enough, man. Like this is a case of one team just being far superior than the other team, which makes it that much more impressive if Luka and Kyrie are able to, somehow pull this series out, and come back from being down 1-0 and somehow pull this series out. It would make it that much more impressive. It would be one of the most impressive championships I have ever seen with my own two eyes. But it seems like a case of just a young player who, makes it to the finals for the first time carrying, and then just runs into a team that is just more experienced, more equipped for the big moments, more depth overall, and just no matter what he does, it's not going to be enough. That's what it feels like right now. But I will say you need more from Luka. You like I know Luka had 30, but you need more from Luka. You like if you're gonna win this series, you need Luka to average 30 plus, and you need him to be giving you damn near 10 assists a night. One assist is not gonna cut it. So you need more from Luka. I guess my key is good for Dallas coming into this game too. You need more from Luka. You need more 3-point looks. You need to find a way to generate 3-point looks, however that comes. Whatever actions you have to run to generate them. If you just want them to be Luka step backs, whatever, man, you got to find a way to get up more threes. And Kyrie needs to be better. For Kyrie to have 12 points in this game 1 was I imagine for Dallas fans that was a pretty big disappointment. I imagine a bunch of Dallas fans are going into this game thinking Kyrie going to ball out. He might have a 30 piece. He's at least going to hit the over on his points. And for Kyrie to come out and have a 12-point performance, disappointing, man. And again, just like Luka, you can't hide Kyrie defensively against this team, bro. Everybody on this team, just like everybody is capable of scoring on Luka, everybody's capable of scoring on Kyrie too. Like I thought Kyrie could even do okay against the two smaller guards in Derek and Drew, but nah, man. Like even they can score on Kyrie. Like I'm not gonna say easily, but they can score on Kyrie. Like Kyrie can't guard them consistently. And I mean, shit, Drew Holiday, bro. Drew Holiday has made it a point in almost every single series to get in the paint, shoulder up, and body the power forward of the other team. He did it with Mobley against the Cavs. He did it with Siakam in this game, or in the last series, and he did it with PJ Washington in this game. To see a 6'4" guard go down there with 6'8", 6'9" forwards and give him a shoulder and body him in the paint and get two, that's our point guard, bro. I don't know what you do against this Boston team, bro. And I'm just glad that I'm a Celtics fan, because if I wasn't a Celtics fan and I had to play this team, I wouldn't feel hopeless, obviously. You never feel hopeless as a fan, like if your team is in the finals. Like obviously if your team gets there, you have faith and you believe. But if I was a Dallas Mavericks fan, bro, and I was looking at this series realistically and not just with blind fandom, I would be pretty discouraged. I would be pretty discouraged. And like I said, like maybe Dallas unlocks something that I'm not seeing right now with, like, maybe there's a scheme that they can put in place that I'm just not rendering at this point in time after watching that game, and it flips the whole series around, and Luka and Kyrie go crazy and they go win. Maybe that's a possibility, but what I saw in that game 1, bro, what I saw in that game 1 and what I felt would be the case going into this series, I don't foresee Dallas finding a way to pull this out. That being said, there's still 3 more games to play, or 3 more games to win. There's still potentially 6 more games to play. Boston is going to have to come in and take care of business and continue to execute. You could see the nerves early in that game, which is to be expected. I mean, they put so much pressure on themselves and the media and the fan base. Everybody has put immense pressure on Boston for this championship. So the nerves in the beginning, was a little bit to be expected, but once they got in their rhythm and just kind of let the game flow and just played basketball, they looked elite. And that should come as no surprise. They've been elite all year. I mean, let the media tell it. They're just nothing but disappointments and can't play in big situations and aren't clutch and whatever. But the truth of the matter is, this team has been elite all year. They were elite once again in game one, and if they continue to play to that level, like they didn't even have an amazing game, bro. Like, if we're being 100%, Boston didn't even have like one of their best games that I've seen them play. And man, if Tatum is gonna turn the ball over 6 times and have a poor shooting night, and Boston is still gonna win by basically 20 points, that's tough, bro. That's tough. I don't know. Yeah, man, it's like grasping for straws to try to figure out what kind of game plan Dallas should come into this next game with. Maybe you do go straight up on Tatum instead of showing so much help, and instead of like maybe you do say, okay, now that we've seen that these other guys can beat us, let's make Tatum beat us. Maybe that's the approach that you take. And shit, maybe that's the narrative that a lot of like Dallas or media fans might run with because they don't believe in Tatum. But I'll tell you right now, as somebody who has watched Tatum since his rookie season, if your plan is to just let Tatum cook, it's not it's not gonna go very well for you, man. Like that is one of the best 3-level scorers in the league, no matter what the media says about him. So yeah, maybe that is the plan. Maybe Dallas guards straight up this game and decides to let Tatum cook, but I just don't foresee that going well, bro. I don't foresee it going well with how well this team plays defense. If you're also getting a 30 piece from Tatum, then good luck, man. Yeah, so I'm trying to live in this moment. I'm trying to enjoy these finals every single game. I'm also trying not to get too high. Like, obviously, I'm very excited and very encouraged by what I saw in this game one. But just trying not to get too high and understand that like the team on the other side is still a very, very good team. And anything can happen in sports. So there's a potential for, like I said, either a scheme to be put in place that I don't foresee coming, or just a cold stretch for Boston that I don't see coming. Anything is possible. So I'm trying not to get too high, but I will say, if you are a Celtics fan right now, it is very good to be a Celtics fan right now. Yeah, man, I cannot wait. As far as Boston, what adjustments Boston needs to make in game 2, they don't need to make any adjustments. And I mean, look, I'm okay with them playing the straight up defense that they played and helping when it's needed, and then the rotations from there being good. And I'm also okay with, on the offensive end, all the sets that they were running. If we get a look where it's Kyrie on Jaylen, let Jaylen cook one-on-one. I don't care. I don't care if people say, oh, isolation basketball isn't winning. If it's Jaylen Brown being guarded by Luka or Kyrie Irving, or Luka Doncic for that matter, if it's Jaylen Brown being guarded by one of those two guys, ISO all day, bro. Jaylen is cooking both of them fools. Same thing with Tatum. If Tatum gets a look where he's got Kyrie or Luka on him, let that man cook, bro. And that was the game plan. The game plan is, if Porzingis, Tatum, or JB get a mismatch, let them cook. If we're not being given a mismatch, run our actions, make the right reads, and get an open three or get an open look at the rim. And it's worked for Boston all year long. They have the personnel to make it so that it's going to work no matter what. And again, offensively, keep the same game plan. Defensively, keep the same game plan. Keep communicating. I mean, I love the way this team is so in sync, bro. Like, the ball movement is super in sync. They all know what reads to make. They all know what is happening when they get into their actions. And then when you look at the defensive end of the floor, the communication is impeccable as well. Like, there was a play where Derek and I think it might have been, I think it might have been KP, but Derek and KP switched like perfectly. So essentially, it was a situation where Derek gets caught on a screen, and I think it was Luke. I can't remember exactly who it was, but whoever had the ball, Derek gets caught on the screen. Whoever has the ball is driving in the lane, and there was a shooter on the wing for Dallas, and I think it was either Al or Porzingis, but they left the shooter on the wing to switch on to Derek's man driving off the paint, and then Derek immediately went out to the wing shooter. And like that switch was just done so effortlessly. Like it was a scenario where when Derek got caught on the screen and the ball handler had such wide open space to work with, it was a situation where I, as a basketball fan, when I see that kind of space and when I see a defender get caught on a screen like that, and I see the big, playing drop like that much into the paint, like giving the ball handler that much space, it's a situation where I'm like, okay, this is a pull-up jumper, like with ease almost every time. But I think it was Horford or KP helping off of that wing defender instantly, and Derek instantly knowing to jump out to that wing, to where when he didn't get the shot he wanted and he tried to go look out to the wing, Derek was right there. This defense is so in sync as well. This offense is so in sync. They know that the job is not finished. They know that they need to continue to execute like this, and I think they have every intentions to make quick work of this series. I don't think they have any intentions to play with their food. I think if they were gonna show a sign of playing down to their competition or playing with their food, we would have seen some of that in this game one, and we didn't see any of that in this game one. They came out and took care of business. It's good to be a Celtics fan right now, man. I'm sticking to my prediction in Celtics in 5 because I think that Luka and Kyrie are too good. I feel like they'll get one at some point, but I'm hoping for a sweep. I'm hoping to get the brooms out. And like I said, trying not to get too excited, trying not to get too ahead of myself. But right now, lifting banner 18 seems like more of a real possibility than it has ever felt. Even when Boston was up 2-1 against the Warriors, it still didn't feel like this. Like this feels like as close as they have ever been, and they just need to seal the deal and close it out and get the job done. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait for Sunday. Game 2 on Sunday. I can't fucking wait, man. I'm so excited. Dallas fans, I'm sorry that that this is the team you have to run into in the finals. Hopefully you guys figure it out and make it competitive and maybe even find a way to win. I mean, that would be a historic championship for you guys. But man, it's good to be a Celtics fan right now. I'll leave it at that. Let's do some plugs. If you are also a Celtics fan, which I don't think you would get this far into this video unless you were either 1, just a huge basketball fan without any sort of bias towards the Celtics, or 2, unless you were a Celtics fan. So if you made it this far, I'm going to go ahead and plug. I have a mixtape called Legacy dropping when the Celtics win the championship. If they don't win the championship, we still going to drop the tape. But it's essentially a meditation on legacy, and it is an ode to the 10 most important Celtics players, at least for me. Like the 10 most meaningful, important, relevant Celtics players in my eyes. Who all have, in my opinion, drastically different legacies that are all extremely important to basketball history, to Celtics history. So yeah, legacy dropping. At the end of the finals, be sure to look out for that. If you're a Celtics fan, if you're even just a hoops fan, check it out, bro. Like I have every intention to make Legacy a series, and the next installment of Legacy isn't just going to be Celtics players. It's going to be, a bunch of players. So, yeah, man. Like even if you're just a hoops fan, like. Go peep the tape, bro. Like I think you guys will rock with a lot of the entendres, a lot of the basketball references, a lot of just a lot of the wordplay. Like I think basketball fans will rock with it. So if you're a hoops head, check out the tape when that drops. You can check out my other music I have out right now already. Check out K Reviews podcast on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe here. So that way, if you guys want to keep getting sports news, I cover all 4 of the major pro sports, and I cover I'll be covering college football and college basketball to the best of my abilities as well. I've also been keeping up a little bit with the W, so maybe WNBA gets added. But if you want a one-stop shop for almost every single sport, hit up Biggest Little Sportscast and subscribe and be on the lookout for these videos. And I am a biased Celtics fan, but I'm gonna try my best to look at things objectively when I talk all sports, and when I talk the Celtics. I know this video may not seem like that, but like, what am I supposed to say bad about what just happened? You know what I mean? Like, there's not much to pick apart. Like, I guess the media might be shitting on Tatum right now, but in my opinion, like, I saw Tatum rebound efficiently. I saw Tatum guard defense or play defense efficiently, and I saw Tatum make the right reads and make the right passes throughout the game. And he still had 16 points. So, yeah, man, I just, there's not much for me to shit on, if I'm being real. Like I said, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible in these videos, but when the team is playing like that, what am I supposed to say? But yeah, man, we'll leave it at that. Subscribe. Go check out my music. Check out K Reviews. I'm talking way too long here at the end, rambling. But I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope everybody enjoys game 2, and peace.